Hello everyone, welcome to my new video. My name is Alexander and today I'm going to install Windows 1.0, so 1.0, the first Windows which was ever sold on a Tandon PCA computer from 1986. I have this original model in my basement since 2006 and finally I found time to get it a little bit repaired, refurbished, and now it's working again. And I wanted to install Windows 1.0 because this little Tandon computer system was delivered with Windows. It's a special version from Tandon. We have here 6 installation disks. 6 floppy disks which are already prepared here on my desk. You also see MS-DOS 3.2, 2 disks, which is already installed on my computer system. The computer system itself is a Tandon PCA 7007. It's equipped with this nice keyboard which fits perfect to the old case of the Tandon. And the Tandon is equipped with an Intel processor 286. It offers 6 or 8 megahertz. You can see here we have 2 floppy disk drives, and inside we have a 20 megabyte hard disk drive and 1 megabyte RAM. It's already the extended version, the extended memory version of this computer system with 1 megabyte. And you can see also here a Phillips Monitor. It was bought 1990, so it's not as old as the computer system itself, and you can see this already by comparing the colors of the both systems. In the background you see the complete user documentation which came with the system. It was originally sealed, and we have description of hardware, of software, of all the programs which come with Microsoft Windows, with description of Paint, of Write, and everything you wanted to know about this computer system was in these times printed on paper. And for comparison reasons, I presented here an old hard disk drive. I just wanted to give you an impression how big these things were in the 80s, and said it was not as easy to put them into your system as it is today. These guys had to be low-level formatted in order to get the controller together with a hard disk drive, and they both had to get along first before you can do your high-level formation and your DOS installation. And you see here an error pattern. It's a printout of all known errors of the hard disk drive, and it was necessary that you fill a matrix during low-level formatting process with all the known errors of an hard disk, so that the sectors could be ignored during the operation of the disk. And a disk without errors, that was not very common in the 80s, so you had always some errors on your disk. So this is the presentation, real quick presentation, or was a real quick presentation of the computer system we are using. And now we are going to switch it on and we will install Windows 1.0. But I will not make any cuts in the video, so we will do now a live installation process. I switch the system now on with remote control. You see the monitor is monochrome, it's nice orange, and I will zoom in now so that you can follow the installation process a little bit better, and we will discuss the different steps, and I will also translate because I have the German version of Windows. What you now see is the DOS starting monitor. You may have realized that the system boot up was very quick, and this is due to we don't have much software on the system during the boot. So we don't have much controller software here inside the system on the main board. So DOS shows us the current date. It's already Monday, and the current time. So we have now early in the morning, around about midnight, and we have the year 87 where Tandon released this product. As you can see, we're already in C, so DOS is running on my hard disk drive, and in order to install Microsoft Windows, we have to, of course, now insert our floppy disk in the floppy disk drive. Now it's in. We will switch to A real quick, and it works. So we can check if we have some files on the disk. Disk file is running, so as the disk drive is running, so we have our files, and we already saw that we have our setup file, which is necessary now for booting up the system, for running this Windows setup program, installation program. And now we have the installation prompt, and we are now informed that we will have to install Windows, to load Windows, to start some application programs, and to print with Windows. And we now can proceed with W, and I press W, and now we are asked if we wanted to install Windows on a disk or in 2 disks or at our hard drive. And we choose hard drive. And the next thing we are asked if what kind of directory we want to use, and of course we want to use the standard Windows directory. I proceed, and here we see that Windows asked us to keep our disks ready for the installation process, 6 disks, and that we need to know which mouse, which graphic card, which printer we are going to use, because Windows want to have this information at a later time. We are proceeding now. This drive is working again. Now we are asked what kind of keyboard layout we have. We choose now USA, and here we are asked what kind of mouse we have. Sadly, unfortunately, I don't have any mouse on the system, so I have to go with one. That means without any pointing device. And this is a very important step, because here we are asked which kind of graphic card we're using, and if you type in the wrong model here, you end up with a Windows version which will not boot up and which don't gives you any failure message. So I have here the Hercules graphic, or compatible with a black and white monitor, so I have to type in 2, and this should work now. And now we are copying the first files on the system. On the bottom you see the counter. We have already copied 8 files, and now we have finished the first disk, and we are asked to insert the second one. Second one is right here. Put it in and just proceed with W here. and the counter of the files continues as well. We have already now 10 files copied. I mean, we have 6 disks. We have already finished one. This is the second one, and the installation process is pretty quick, pretty easy. You have just at the beginning some menus where you have to fill out some information which you just saw, and so does it. The rest is just following the procedures given on the screen. And now I'm inserting number 3, disk number 3. Okay, the sound of our floppy drive is a little bit different. And we are asked if we want to install a printer. As I don't have one, we will skip this with proceed. And now we have to insert the already 4th disk with the fonts. Let's see if this works as smooth as the rest. Yeah, the counter of the files is going up. It also works. 20 files installed already. It's not bad. You have always take into account that this system now is more than 30 years old. And every disk we are inserting here could be damaged, or could have some files missing. And I'm always worrying that some disk, as you can see here, one file could not be copied. I just press repeat, but it's still not working. So we are now in the programs disk. So we are copying here a program. It's a smart helping program for Windows. I just press ignore. It skips this file. Hopefully it works anyway. So we have next error here. Another file which could not be copied. The second one, I have to ignore this as well. So we are now at 2 programs or 2 files which could not be copied. I hope this isn't a big issue in the end, and it's the main program running here. And this is already the 5th disk. There's a lot of files on it. Floppy disk making a lot of noise. And I'm hearing the hard disk drive as well. And we're finished with it now. So remember, 2 files are missing. Now the last disk with the predecessor of Microsoft Word. Microsoft Write it's called here. Let's see how it goes. Still working. It's a lot of work. And I had really a lot of work too by putting this computer system back to life. I stored it like 15 years in my basement. I bought it at eBay 15 years ago, and I always wanted to install this Windows 1.0 and 1.0, and I never found the time to do it because it was a lot of trouble with getting the HDDs working again. And I have already 2 or 3 HDDs bought at eBay which are not working on the system, but it's a software issue and not a hardware issue. So I have to keep on working on this HDDs in the next months when I have the time. This is the only HDD which really proper works here, but it's a system software problem. I will solve it. Maybe I'll make a video of this too and explain to you guys how we can make a low-level fermentation with this Tandon PC. It's an interesting topic, HDDs from the 80s, but you will find a lot of videos on YouTube too. So there are a lot of guys which have already covered this topic in detail. So I'm proud that I could present you this old computer system fully working with the documentation and the original discs, everything completed as it was sold in the 80s. So it really makes me proud, even if I had to do some soldering as well to get it working again, but the soldering process was just the BIOS battery which I had to exchange, and I soldered a little bit on the HDD which I just presented you, which is outside now of the system, and where a capacitor was a little bit broken, so no big operations on the mainboard or something. It's just some minor damage due to the years which the system has already spent working. And now we have finalized our installation process. Keep in mind, we now have installed 6 disks containing Windows 1.0, and we only have 2 files missing. 2 files could not be copied, but according to Microsoft Windows, now we have everything which we need, and we are ready to work with Windows, ready to run. We just have to type in Win in order to get it started. But before I will do it, I will just check if our file really contains, or if our directory really contains our files. And you can see we have some files inside. We have some executables, we have some binaries, we have some ini files, and this goes on a little bit. You see, it's not too big here. We have another folder here. Let's see what's in here. We have here we have some other PIA files which Windows needs. This is a new concept of Microsoft. I can cover this stuff here in detail in the next videos, but first of all, let's be happy that we have our files here, which Windows needs in order to get it started. And now we're typing in Win and give it a smooth enter. Let's see. Oh yeah, we have here now the Microsoft starting screen from 1986, and it's already up and working. As you can see here, we have kind of a file-based presentation of our programs here and of our files which are in the Windows directory. We have a little bit of graphic framework here. We see our floppy drives, we see our hard drive C, and we have also some nice features like the folders and the list special menu here on the top menu. We can use it also with our alternative key and the fitting key like D. Here you can already work with your system and can now also start a program. And of course, it's already late. We want to know what time it is. Let's see on our watch, on our clock. We have like shortly after midnight. And the Windows installation did not take too much time here, and the clock works. It's nice little gimmick which Microsoft had beginning, and I don't want to cover all programs here. We have a lot of programs which we can use, which we can test, but because I don't have a mouse right here, it's like a little bit hard to go through all programs where a mouse would be helpful. But before I end this video, I wanted to just give you an impression of the two major programs, two major software parts which still survived until today. And this is Paint, for example, MS Paint. You have MS Paint on every Windows machine at the moment. And it already started with this nice framework here. It looked kind of modern, I think, from the point of the 80s, from the standpoint of the 80s, and I like really the format here. It's kind of nice. With a mouse, I would really go through all the different tools and would really try to draw something simple, of course. And that was Paint. Another thing here is another program which really took us one whole disk is Write, the predecessor of Word, and something similar was also installed on the Apple devices. And here you see the Word framework, and okay, this looks a little bit blank. It's blank. It's a new page, and let's see. I have found one file here on our system, which is already pre-installed. I think it's a demo or something. It's called Reise, which means this is maybe an advertisement for travel agency or description for some vacation in Italy. Yes, it looked like an ad. You can book here a travel agency and really can book your trip to Italy. Yeah, nice. That's nice. And in the 80s, this was, of course, a great progress. With such a writing program. But now I have to close it, and this was a short presentation of Windows, and I hope you enjoyed it. I will close Windows as well. Yes, we want to shut down Windows, and we are back to MS-DOS. I mean, this was not too complicated. And in the 80s, installing Windows was a procedure which did not take too long time. I think if you hit the right buttons, you will be successful in a couple of minutes. But of course, when I did it the first time, a couple of weeks ago, it was a little bit more stress for me due to the lack of knowledge about my graphic card. Here you see again the original discs from Tandon, which I used. Here's a MS-DOS disk from Tandon, and all the user manuals you can go through if you have problems sleeping at night. But it's interesting to have really a system with all the documentation and all the original software in place and working. So I'm proud that it works now, and I hope you enjoyed my video. And maybe we see each other again in some other videos of mine in the next months regarding the system. So have a great time, and bye.